Hey guys, we're here with Matt at Go For Game, and we wanted to show off his Rikka strategy. So how are you liking this deck for the format?
The deck's not as good as it used to be, like pre the Shizu cards, mainly because the Shizu cards can spin back like this deck's like best interruption, which is the Rikka Princess. But other than that, it still has a good matchup into Sprite and like any monster, any reliant deck. It's not very good into trap decks, but like that's it. It's still a really good rogue contender, I'd say.
Awesome, let's get right to the list.
So first, I wanted to show the normal summons. So you have 6 normal summons in the deck primarily. It's Loci and Petal. Loci you normally would rather go into because this goes into your entire SUNAVALON engine, and the SUNAVALON engine is absolutely cracked in this deck because it goes like your full combo. Basically, you go into 5 links and then you go summon pulls all your Rikkas out. But if you don't open Loci or wait into the Loci, you can always normal summon Petal first as your first summon. So Petal on summon, it's not on summon, but activated effect. You search any Rikka. You want to get this into your graveyard at some point because it's kind of like your grind game. During your opponent's end phase, it summons itself back if all you control are plants, which is the entire deck. So next, we'll see the hand traps, which I play 6 of. Only the good hand traps. Ashen Imperm. I am playing other like golden second cards, but like this deck kind of needs some stuff to interact with some certain cards. Like when I play against Tyr, for example, which is like this deck's worst matchup, you kind of need the Imperm to hit the Kick Hallows because you want to make sure they don't search the traps because this deck has just really bad interaction with trap cards. So yeah, those are the hand traps. So next for the other Rikka monsters, you play 3 Princess, 1 Primula. So these are the 4s in the deck. It makes the rank 4, and basically this card is kind of a brick. You want to search it off Glamour, but if you open it, it's not the end of the world. Princess is the actual like god card of this deck. It's the reason why this deck can beat like stuff like Sprite. It can beat any monster heavy deck. It is a free special summon. It locks you into plants, but again, that's all this deck is. It goes basically it's your negate in graveyard. You tribute a monster for cost and shuffle it back into deck, and it just negates a monster effect. So it lets you play through Dark Ruler as well, which was like a prominent board breaker.
And then the TCG would be fair.
Next, the other Rikka you play is Snowdrop and Mudon. So these are your big Rikkas. Snowdrop you only need 1 of. I saw someone playing 2, but you really don't want to see this in your opening hand because you search it part of your combo. And you want 2 just for the grind game, basically. Mudon searches any spell trap, so you search your field spell, which is the other crazy card in this deck. Because like honestly, the best cards in this deck are Princess and the field spell, because they have the most interaction with your opponent. But basically, the bigger ones, they all have the effect you tribute a plant and you special summon it. This one you want to search because it summons a plant with it, and then it level modulates. So you can set everything to 8 and make the rank 8. Next, the other cards. This is in the SUNAVALON engine. This is the only hard brick of the deck. If you open this card, you usually cry. I open it like every other game. Basically, you summon it off Sunbind Sowing, the other spell you play in the deck, and it revives Sunseed Loci, and this is how you get into all your link combos, which I'll show later. And finally, the last 2 plants, Lone Fire Blossom and my favorite card, Cactus Bouncer. No one plays Cactus Bouncer because you have to normal summon it. This card, every single time I've summoned it, I've won the game because you can search it off Rikka Glamour, the Rhoda in this deck, because it searches any level 4 plant as well. So this card is crazy like in a grind game because it's 1800 attack, and basically if you're both like top decking, like if you just drop this, you just win the game basically. Lone Fire, I was thinking about cutting this card. You can play it if you want. It lets you go into different lines where like, because there's 2 normal summons, right? There's the Petal and the Loci. So sometimes if you can go into this, you can get the other one that you're missing to go into the other line. So next we have the spells. So for spells, you play 3 of the field spell, 3 Glamour, and I guess you also play Terraforming. So before the ratio was 2 of the field spell and then 1 terraforming, I've changed it up to like just 4 field spells because honestly, when going second, this is like your best in-engine card because this lets you break boards. Basically, all the Rikka cards, they have effects to tribute your own cards as cost. While you have the field spell, soft once per turn, you can tribute your opponent's monster as cost. So basically, if you open like multiple field spells, you go this, tribute one of their monsters, and then activate a new field spell and tribute one of their monsters. So I figured like It does a lot. It also lets you set any Rikka spell trap from your deck, which you play one of the traps, which is like basically Crackdown, or you can set this card. And this card is also very, very strong. This is, for the archetype, it's Rhoda, but if you tribute a monster, you can search a plant monster with the same level. So part of the combo, you can, if you want to make any, because of the release of Princess, you tribute any of your monsters, you get to add Princess and Primula, and then Primula special summons itself because you tribute one of your monsters, and then Princess can special summon as one turn. So you basically get a rank 4 for free as long as you have this card, basically. It also is the card that lets you search Cactus Bouncer, which is obviously the best card in the deck.
Best card in the game.
Yeah, it's the best card in the game, yeah. For going second cards, I play 2 Triple Attack, 2 Dark Ruler as well. So basically with the hand traps, it leads up the count up to about 4, and 6, so 10 cards. You want to see these cards, like, honestly, like, stuff like Flu, you need Dark Ruler for, Sprite, you need Dark Ruler for. Triple Attack is if you get hand trap, because, like, this is a combo deck, so basically if you get hand trap, you do want something to extend sometimes, and it's just a good card this format, because there's a lot of interaction on your turn. Finally, the other SUNAVALON spells that you play. You play 3 Unexpected Die, 1 for 1, and Sunvine Sowing. Unexpected Die is the best card to open on your first turn. It is your E-Telly because it summons the level 1, and as I'll show later, the level 1 is just full combo for this deck. Like I said, you just want cards that like get into that, so 1 for 1 is also one of those. That 1 for 1 has another special things that I can go into Petal. So again, with like the thing with Lone Fire Blossom, whatever you're missing, you can just go into the other one. And then Sunvine Sowing, this is also the necessary, like, it's not a complete brick. You don't want to open it because you can search it with Dryas, but basically it summons Sunseed Twin and you need to play it. And then finally for the traps, 2 Rivalry, 1 Rikka Sheet. Rivalry is broken. That's it. Rikka Sheet, this is your in-engine Crackdown. Basically, you can tribute one of your monsters, target one of their monsters. They can't activate the monster's effect, but if you tribute one of the monsters, you steal the monster as well. So this is your best card against Sprite. You can just single-handedly beat the deck. So next for the extra deck.
And 41 in the main?
41 in the main, yeah. So we'll play 3 SUNAVALON Dryas. This is your starter link. You link it off with Loci. On summon, not once per turn, you get to search the Sunvine Sowing, the card that lets you summon the twin, and it's part of your combo. You need to play at least 2 to play your combo, but the third comes up sometimes when you just need to like get rid of one of your monsters. Next you play Thrasher and Healer. I know some people were having trouble finding this card. If you could literally play 2 Healer, it wouldn't even matter. This I've never once activated the other effect to like help you OTK, but there's OTK lines with this because it can gain 800 attack per the link rating of the monster, so you can get up pretty big. And then Healer heals you based off a SUNAVALON, so it's part of your combo with Jasmine to get a search. So next you do have Jasmine, which is the best link monster for plant support anyways. It is a search, and then you can special summon any plant from deck. Yeah, like you gotta play 2 because 2 definitely comes up, and it's part of your full combo. Next you have SUNAVALON, Sylvan Dancian. I am not the biggest fan of this card, but you do kind of need to play it to sometimes when your hand is just like absolutely atrocious. It excavates 3, and then you can special summon up to 2 of those excavated plant monsters, and then it can level modulate based off your graveyard. It's pretty good though because you can go into 2 plants to make it generic. You can change levels. And then these 2, Malias and Begalancer, you need this card specifically to get into this. This one, after you're done your Jasmine stuff, you link it off to make this, and then this summons back the Loci, so you can summon this. This is this is a really good card. Basically, it targets an effect monster and it bounces to the hand, but then you take damage equal to its attack. It can revive itself if you banish link monsters up to link rating 4. And yeah, it's part of your grind game. It's just good on your end board. And finally, it's the Xyz monsters. So you play 2 Strenna and 1 Teardrop as the only Rikka Xyz monsters. You could play the rank 6, but unfortunately, the way the rank 6 is worded, it doesn't really do anything against Tier because you have to activate it in a new chain. So that's why I just opted to play the good ones. This one is really good because it adds a card back, so it's follow-up, and then If it's tributed, you XYZ on top of it. So that's how you make stuff like Hyperiton and Alsay, which is like the other strong cards. You mainly make Hyperiton on your first turn. This one's you're out to Floodgates. You always call like, I don't know, Moki Moki or something funny, and then you activate the wrong card, you detach one, target a card, bounce to the top. So I've like bounced a lot of anti-spells and stuff that my opponents had to their top deck, so it just wins me the game. And then this, it's like Macabre, whatever it detaches, it negates and destroys. And then finally the main boss monster, Teardrop. Its actual effect is just quick effect, tribute a monster. It's mainly your rank 8 that you make with the Snowdrop. Finally, the side deck. I made the side deck, you know, in a couple minutes, so don't judge me. But one call by, because like I said, this deck loses to a lot of hand traps. But also just like, I feel like having the call by sometimes is just nice to have on your end board. The third Dark Ruler I side, just because again, you know, there's like other decks like Flunder and Sprite that you need Dark Ruler to beat. 3 Cosmic in the main, self-explanatory, just needs back row hate. Just like, yeah, because the deck also really loses hard to trap decks, so you need the back row hate. A Pointer and Judgment. The reason why you play these cards is like I said, this deck has no interaction with traps, so you can lose to just one single evenly. So you kind of need to draw these cards in game 3 to like dodge evenly. 3 D barrier and 3 evenly yourself. So again, more back row hate, and honestly hits decks like Flunder and Sprite as well. D barrier I started playing specifically for the tier matchup because you can call fusion, and like overall that probably saves you the game if you can survive a turn against tier, because this deck has a lot of recursion through Petal. And yeah, that's the side.
Awesome. Let's just move right to the combo. Matt, take it away with the combo.
Alright, so the combo I wanted to show was just with Loci and Unexpected Die. Basically, if you open either, it's completely full combo for both your SUNAVALON engine and your Rikka cards. You want to open Unexpected Die rather than Loci, but if you do open Loci, it can just be your normal summon. So, in the case you do open Unexpected Die, you go activate, you summon Loci from deck, you go link 1, and then you get to summon SUNAVALON Dryas. And what Dryas does, it lets you search Sunbind Sowing from your deck. And Sowing is this crazy card, because it goes activate Sowing. And because you control the Dryas, you're allowed to summon a monster that isn't Sunseed Genius Loci. If you don't control the Dryas, you can only summon Loci, and you summon Twin. Basically what happens here is that Twin goes Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2 Dryas, because you took effect damage, you heal it back, you summon Thrasher to its arrow. So that's the one thing, you just don't want to, the only time you want to summon, you don't want to summon something to its arrow, but you summon Loci to the other spot here. Then you go Link 2. For the best card, Jasmine, you have to link off the Twin first. A lot of people make this mistake. You have to link off Twin because you have to go Dryas first, because Healer requires a level 4 lower plant monster that's a normal monster. So summon Healer effect, target your Dryas, you gain 300 life points, comes up in time. Jasmine then triggers because you gain life points, so you can search any plant monster. So this is where you get into your Rikka engine. So you basically search whatever you're missing. If you have Snowdrop in your hand, you search Mudon. Most of the time you're searching Snowdrop though, because it's your one of. So you have them. Next, you go Jasmine's other effect. You tribute the Healer. A lot of people also don't know this. You need to tribute the Healer, because Healer, if you don't have a SUNAVALON on the field, it just destroys itself. So you tribute and then you summon any single plant monster from your deck. So that's why it's really good. So the monster you generally want to summon is Rikka Petal, your other starter. So this way you've gone into both of your lines, and then basically Petal has an effect to search another monster. So you have both in your hand. Next, you'll activate Snowdrop's effect to summon itself and another plant from your hand, so you usually summon Mudon. Mudon's effect lets you search a spell trap, so this is where you get free access into your field spell. Next, you can activate your field spell, or you can do this later, but basically you go Snowdrop effect, target itself, you make these to rank 8. So this is how you can overlay for Teardrop. This is your quick effect, tribute a monster. You can go Con. Con's effect lets you set a Rikka spell trap. So depending on the deck, if it's Sprite, I'll just set the trap right away because it's like really strong. But if it's not Sprite, you can set Glamour and keep on comboing off further. And so remember, this was all without doing your normal summon. So if you have like an additional normal summon, this is like really strong because you get to make the Bangle Lancer ever. So like in the example, let's just say I have, I don't know, it can be any, like Lone Fire Blossom Phantasm or whatever. But basically, if you go Glamour here, Tribute Dryas, you get to search 2 monsters. So you can search the Princess and the Primula. And then a new chain, because your monster was Tribute, you can special Primula, and then once per turn you can just special summon Princess. You overlay these for Shrena. And then Shrena's effect, you want to detach the Princess, and you can add any single Rikka card or plant monster back to your hand. So sometimes you can add back Twin if you want like follow-up to link off. Usually I add back Glamour though, because this is like your Rhoda, so it's your follow-up for your next turn. And then remember, if Shrena's ever tributed, so you could even do it on your own turn, tribute this, and summon the Hyperiton on top. But I like to keep it for my opponent's turn because I can tribute it off Princess and then just make it Xyz. Next, so if you have a normal summon, link off for the Melius, and then Melius lets you revive Loci from your grave. Then you link 4 for the Bengal Lancer. So this is an example of a turn 1 board that you can just end on with basically a normal summon of any single monster and unexpected die or loci. So obviously you couldn't do it if you normal loci, but basically you want to tutor your board based off of what you're playing against. Like for example, if it's Sprite, I want to get the trap set. Maybe I won't have this, but I'll have the trap set, and that's just really strong. If you're against more like grindy decks, you really want to get most of your monsters out because you want to have interaction. You get your negate in your graveyard, and you get the petal in your graveyard, which is revives itself during your opponent's end phase. So it's basically the full combo with just one tiny seed, which is kind of cool. Yeah. Plant's best deck. Yeah.
Thanks, Matt, for the profile and the combo guide. Any last shout-outs?
Shout-outs to Go For Game, best locals in Toronto. Shout-out to my boys at Team X9, as usual, and shout-out for Hakuna My Data for the best content on YouTube.
Thank you.